They didn't break up with you. Because technically, you were never together. So what the hell are you even grieving? That right there is the emotional chaos of an almost relationship. Let's talk about it. You think about them constantly. Not because it was some deeply nourishing soulmate-level love story, but because it was confusing. They gave you crumbs, flashes of warmth, a drunk text here, a deep 3 a.m. talk there, just enough to keep you hooked, but never enough to feel safe. You keep replaying their messages like you're a CIA analyst, analyzing their silences like they're encrypted codes. Was it something I said, something I didn't do, something I didn't become in time? No. It was that you fell in love with potential. That one version of them, the soft one, the open one, the one who made eye contact and actually listened, that version became your entire blueprint. Even if it only lasted 5 minutes. Even if you've never seen it again. And so you clung to it like a promise. But it never was. Because when you fall for someone who's avoidant or emotionally unavailable, it doesn't matter how kind, loving, or patient you are. They don't see love as a safety net. They see it as exposure, as a threat. So they joke instead of talking. They talk about someday instead of making plans. They flirt with the idea of a relationship, but only if it's chill, casual, no pressure. And every time you lean in, they lean out. Every time you try to clarify what's happening, they disappear into a cloud of vagueness and half-read messages. So you compensate. You overgive. You become more understanding, more forgiving, more available. You start shrinking to fit inside their comfort zone. But in the process, you start disappearing from your own life. It's not that they don't care about you. It's that their version of care is filtered through a nervous system trained to avoid closeness. They've built walls around their vulnerability. Maybe because of childhood, maybe because their last partner blew up their trust. Maybe because they've never seen what real intimacy actually looks like. So even if they feel something, they'll suppress it. They'll joke it away. They'll ghost it to death. You end up in limbo. Not together, not apart. Not loved, not unloved. Just floating. Always, almost chosen. And here's the part that hurts the most. If you grew up in a house where love had to be earned, where affection came with strings attached, where you had to be the fixer, the pleaser, the caretaker, then this will feel familiar. You'll mistake inconsistency for depth, silence for mystery, coldness for emotional complexity. You'll think, if I just love them better, maybe they'll stay this time. But this isn't love. This is your inner child trying to win over someone who keeps disappearing. Hoping this time, finally, you'll be enough. Spoiler alert, it's not about you being enough. It's about them not being ready. And you weren't put on this earth to emotionally babysit grown adults. You're not just grieving them. You're grieving the idea of them. The fantasy version you created in your mind. The one who finally shows up. Who chooses you out loud. Who tells their friends about you. Who makes you feel like a priority instead of a convenience. You held on to that vision like a lifeline. You designed an entire future in your head based on 10 good moments. That loss of the dream is what makes it so heavy. People around you won't get it. They'll say, "You weren't even official." They clearly didn't care. Just move on. But they weren't in your head. They didn't see the alternate universe you built. The one where they finally picked you. That grief is real, and it deserves space. And maybe you've tried to leave. Maybe you've blocked them, unfollowed, declared your worth. But then, they send a late-night message, they like an old photo. They say, "I miss you," but never say, what they're going to do about it. And boom, you're back in the loop. Back in the cycle of hope. Back in the emotional slot machine. Pulling the lever again, hoping this time it pays off. They don't give you a relationship, they give you hope, which is the most addictive drug of all. They don't need to do much. Just enough to keep you from walking away. Not enough to build anything real. Eventually you start believing the problem is you. If I were less needy, if I were more chill, if I didn't care so much. But you're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. You've been trained to think love is adrenaline. That real love is supposed to be intense, dramatic, and painful. Because that's what you grew up with. That's what society sells you. But it's not true. That's not love. That's nervous system chaos. Real love isn't a firework. It's a candle. Steady, warm, predictable. It doesn't ghost you when things get hard. It texts you back. It listens. It remembers. It doesn't make you hold your breath. It lets you exhale. And if you've only ever known love that made you anxious, then stability might feel boring at first. But that's not boredom. That's safety. You just don't recognize it yet. And maybe right now, you're still in it, still checking your phone, still wondering if you gave up too soon. That's okay. Healing isn't a straight line. It's messy, it's ugly, it's quiet. But with every hard boundary, with every time you say, I deserve better, you are choosing yourself again. You are reprogramming your nervous system to stop confusing pain with love. The shift happens when you stop asking, am I good enough for them? And start asking, are they healthy enough for me? That's the difference between chasing love and choosing it. Because real love isn't just about chemistry, it's about compatibility, mutual effort, emotional safety. Sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is walk away from someone you still love. Not because you stopped loving them, but because you finally love yourself more. That's not weakness. That's healing. You're not broken for wanting connection. You're not dramatic for feeling this deeply. You're not naive for hoping it would work. You were trying to rewrite a story that started long before them. But now you get to write something new, where you're not chasing crumbs. You're not stuck in almost. You're not bending backwards just to be tolerated. You're choosing peace, clarity, a love that doesn't feel like a war. It's not giving up, it's growing up. So if this finds you at the right time, let it be your permission to grieve what never was, to feel what needs to be felt, and to finally choose yourself.